Hi, thank you for joining me on another episode in the Transparency series. We'll be talking about self-esteem issues with my friend Camecia. We've been friends for 20 years since high school, so she'll talk to us about how she has dealt with self-esteem issues. So stay tuned and enjoy, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.
Hello. Hi everyone. My name is Camecia and I am so grateful to be a part of my good friend Nadia's Transparency series. This week she's looking at low self-esteem, and I will not say I have a doctorate in the situation, but I think I have gone through enough to be able to share and hopefully provide some tips or some ways in which you can overcome low self-esteem. Now, most persons who know me very well knows that I am a very bubbly personality. I am very friendly, I am talkative, I am very expressive, but you don't get to see that side of me unless you know me very well and you have been around me for a very long time. And I usually don't display that side of me unless I am in the space where I am very comfortable, or I know that I'm not going to be significantly judged in a negative way for expressing my true self. I've made some notes because I want to stay on track, on point, chic and on point. So basically what I want to share is low self-esteem, and I want to share it from the perspective that sometimes our low self-esteem derive from family members and how they speak to us, and how the things that they unconsciously or consciously say that is really unhealthy for us in the formative years, and so that spill over into our adult lives, and it affects the way we think of ourselves, it affects our self-image, it affects the environment that we create for ourselves, and it also impacts in a negative way how we relate to other people. Because sometimes we do project our low self-esteem or insecurities on other people and try to accuse them of doing and saying things that, really ignite the fact that we are just insecure and we need to sort ourselves out. So I want to just start by saying, as a child, I was very expressive. I love the performing arts. I love choir. I love anything musical. I love drama. I love to act. I always wanted to be a part of every skit. And I loved poetry, and speech presentations and all those things. I really, really do love those things. So when I was a child, I was very involved in everything that way. I was always a part of every choir and just basically being a part of everything that was happening. I also love people. I think I have a genuine love for people. I love to see people do well, and I love to see people excel in everything that they do. And what that brings is that I was always sharing my experiences and sharing my thoughts. Now, I remember one time when I was about 8 years old, something happened a particular day, and in my 8-year-old mind and being very talkative and expressive and friendly, I was relaying the events of the day to a family friend, and in the middle of the conversation, the family friend said to me, "Oh, you can talk so much, so you chat too much, you really chat too much, And I was very shocked, and I remember feeling very hurt. And I remember feeling very taken aback and just did not know what to do in the moment as a child, because when I was growing up, I was taught to respect the adults and not to talk back or anything like that. So I really didn't talk back or anything, but I was really hurt by what was said. But this is where a lot of my conversation basically stopped. Conversation just stopped for me. Like, I wasn't comfortable anymore, expressing myself. I wasn't comfortable, talking or, telling, people what I think and what my thoughts are, and I might have ideas. When I got older, I may have had ideas about other things that I would have wanted to express, but I withdrew from doing that. And I became very withdrawn, I became shy, self-conscious. I would not say that I was very confident at that point. I really wasn't, because I wasn't comfortable really speaking and expressing myself. So unless you ask me a direct question, I have nothing to say and I have nothing to share. I grew from that experience. I grew to be very self-conscious and very self-critical. I'm constantly criticizing myself, even if I put myself out there to try and do a presentation. Like after the presentation, I would be trying to be so hard on myself. I could have done this differently, I could have done that this differently, maybe I should have expressed myself differently, this way, that way. And so what happened is that I just became so overly critical of myself to the point where it became very exhausting, and I did not want to really put myself in a position to do more presentation or to speak publicly per se. At school, I was afraid to ask the teacher questions, like in the class, in that big setting. I was afraid to ask questions. And that worked out to be very good and very bad at the same time. It was good because in order to circumvent and make sure that I fill in my own blanks, or wherever I wasn't confident that I understood everything, I would go home and do extra reading. I would, utilize every other source. Or I would go, if I really needed to speak to the teacher, I would wait until after class to speak to the teacher. But it worked, and then through that, I became very, aware and thorough on the material, and so I was able to achieve academic excellence because I was always brilliant and on top of the information. I knew what I was doing, and I was confident about that in that sense. But it was bad because I still did not hone my ability to speak and to express myself and to express my ideas in a very clear and coherent way, and I still did not master the art of communication that will impact other people's lives and and make a change. And because I also had the desire to be that kind of person, to be able to motivate people and to speak and to do all of these things, but for some reason I didn't feel like it was what I could do, or I didn't feel like I was an effective communicator. And that affected me to an extent when I started out my career, because I didn't speak a lot. Persons thought that most people didn't see me as going anywhere. They didn't see me as a leader. They didn't think like I was capable of leading a team, and some people said it to my face, and it was very hurtful. And that even drove me further and further away. But I want to go back to when I really started working on building my self-confidence and eliminating the low self-esteem that I was experiencing as a teenager. For me, it started how I overcame it was in the latter part of my teenage years. I became a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, and I started going to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Now, for most of you who do not know, the Seventh-day Adventist Church is very good with youth development and youth leadership program that will allow you to lead and express yourself. They have Pathfinder. There are different choirs, teen choirs, youth choirs. There was the youth department, which you had if you were a part of the planning committees and all of those committees, whether you were a secretary or whatever, you were a part of the planning for different programs and ministerial initiatives. And when I became a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, I dived into that whole aspect, and I utilized it to really build my confidence, and it really helped. And then even at church, people would encourage you and let you know that when you do a good job, even when you in and of yourself did not think that you did the scripture reading well or you could have done better, there was always that person at the back of the church or that deacon or somebody who would come to you and say, Camecia, you did a good job, and next time we want to see you more on the platform participating in service and stuff. And in myself, I didn't think I did a good job, but I think also they were encouraging and very kind, and they motivated me to want to do it more often. And so because of that, I became more talkative and express myself more, and I was able to participate and even led youth ministries at one point. The other thing was that I read a lot of self-help books. I read books. I like memoirs. I like to hear about other people's experiences and how they overcame the issues and the problems that they encountered in their life, because I do think all of us have the same issue, and we have a lot to overcome, and we have a lot that we have to deal with. So I like to read John Maxwell. He does a very good job on leadership. I love Miles Monroe. Miles Monroe is very good with leadership as well. He's good with purpose. He's good with self-confidence and leadership and all of that. And I love Jack Welch. Jack Welch does very good with strategy and navigating the corporate world and all of that. I also listen to a lot of motivational speaker. Again, I listen to a lot of Miles Monroe presentations, and I listen a lot of Les Brown, because to me, I can see myself in a lot of how when they share their experience and where they're coming from, I see a lot of similarities with my experience, and so I can relate to them more. And I'm able to grow from the things that they say and utilize some of the skills and some of the tips that they give in their presentation, so I can be a better person. I've also developed a habit of telling myself that I am good, I am different, I'm unique, and I'm different from everyone else, and I just own the fact that I am just different from other people, and these are the things that I am strong in. These are the opportunities that are out there for me. I know what my weaknesses are, and so what I do is that I use my strength to manage my weaknesses. And through doing that, I'm able to do a lot better in terms of how I see myself and my self-confidence. And I hang around with positive people. I have positive people in my life. And the minute I have people who come in and try to create a toxic situation in my life, I remove myself, because I honestly do not have any time at this stage in my life to really be fighting with people and fighting to make people appreciate me and respect me for who I am. I constantly, do affirmations and tell myself I am beautiful, and just say nice things. Be nice to yourself. The things that you would want others to say to you, say those things to yourself, so that when people say to you, you smile and you say thank you. The other thing too, I listen a lot of sermons. I listen a lot of sermons as to how to develop myself from a Christian perspective. So I listen to a lot of motivational sermons, as well as sermons that will help me to understand the image of God and how that reflects in my life. I hope I was able to help you in some way. I am really grateful that I had gotten the opportunity to be a part of this transparency series. If I've said anything that you would like to explore further, reach out to my boss, Nadia, and she will get in contact with me. Again, thank you so much. I hope I've shared something that resonated with you and you're able to utilize it going forward to be.
There you have it. Camecia shared so much with us today. Oh my God, I was blessed. So I hope that you'll stop by again to hear what we'll be talking about next on the Transparency series. See you later.